So, hi everyone, welcome to a new workshop session for the codebar Festival. My name is Julissa and I'm a software engineer based on Chile. It's in South America. And today we are going to build something together from scratch. Before we start, just a few things. This is a hands-on workshop, so I will be coding live on screen and you can follow along at your own pace. So I will put a link in the chat so you can have your own copy of the code at the end. And if you get lost at any point that is completely fine. So I will share the full solution also. And if you have comments, doubts, questions, feel free to raise your hand, open your mic, or write through the chat. So one more thing, uh, as maybe you you noticed this, but English is not my first language. So if I say something unclear, just say so in the chat, and I will rather explain it twice than leave anyone confused. All right, let's go. Let me move this. Okay. Here's what we'll do today. The first 15 minutes, it will be a quick intro and setup, and we will talk about what we are building and get everyone's environment ready. So then, about an hour of live coding, we will build a complete API together, step by step. And the last 15 minutes, we will testing, breaking things, and do some QA if you have questions and things similar. And stay until the end because I prepare a giveaway. So yeah, um, let's move to the icebreaker. First, I want to know who's in the room today. So I have three quick poll on the Mentimeter. You can scan the QR or let me move to this one and start the presentation. Okay, you can go to menti.com and enter the code. The question one is, have you ever used an API before? Okay, we will set around a few seconds. Okay. So we have um, a lot of people who already called an API in their code, uh, less people who hear about it but not sure what it means, and yeah, just two persons who not who this concept is new for them. So that's exactly what I expected. So and it's perfect because by the end of the day, all of you will have the same foundation. Uh, and that's my goal for today. So let's move to the next question. You can continue answering the first one, no worries about that. So, the question two is, why are you here today? Okay, um, we can read some things like career change, learn about more about APIs, learn something new, learn about APIs, yeah, understand the concept, learn how APIs work, yeah. That's great. So whatever your reason, I think you are in the right place. Um, yeah, I think we can move to the next question. And what do you want to build? I think maybe this week, the next 2 months, the next year. I don't know. Let's be creative. Maybe you are thinking in a mobile app and your own software as a service, a website. I don't know. First API, financial, a website, API for LLMs, a pet project, RESTful, API basics, healthcare, API portfolio, community polling app. That's interesting. Yeah, I really like your ideas. So this give me a big picture of all of you. You can continue filling this empty, and we can move to the next slide then. So I want to start with these questions because this is something happening around all of us. So before we write a single line of code, I want to address something you might already be thinking. We have tools now like if you don't hear about this, you can write in the chat and let me know. But maybe you heard about GitHub Copilot, a Codex, ChatGPT, CRUD, and they can generate code for you. So, do you actually need to learn how to build an API by yourself? Let me open the chat here. Okay. So, let me, yes, this is my point of view, and if someone disagree, it's totally fine. So let me explain a bit why I think yes. So let me move here. AI generates codes and you can debug it, right? So first, when a code generation tools produce code for you, you still need to understand it. Generate code can have bugs, it can reference APIs that don't exist, it can use the wrong logic. If you don't understand, for example, what a request or a response mean in a route, you won't know what to fix when something breaks, and something will break in every system application that you build. Something will break at some point. And the second reason is and I find this really interesting is you use tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Codex, Gemini, etc. And how do the tools get integrated in into real application? Okay, I read a comment from Fabiola. We need to learn how to debug by coders disaster. Yeah, it's a fact. So how this kind of tools works throughout an API. Yeah. For example, the OpenAI API, the Anthropic API, they are REST APIs. They send a post request with a prompt, you get a JSON response with the answer, and that's exactly the same pattern we are building today. So when you learn to build an APIs, you are also learning the exact mechanism that powers these integrations. The concepts are the same. Learning the fundamentals is not the opposite of working with these tools. It is what makes you effective when you do. Okay, let's talk about what an API actually is. I already know, some of you guys already know this concept, but let me explain for who doesn't know. Let me move forward. Okay, so API stands for Application Programming Interface. Don't worry about the name. What matters is what it does. An API is a contract between two programs. It says if you send me a request in this format, I will send you a response in this format. Think of it like a waiter in a restaurant. I know this is a common example. Some of you already know it, but uh, let's continue. So you don't go into the kitchen yourself. You tell the waiter what you want. The waiter takes your request to the kitchen and brings back the response. The API is the waiter. And the most common type of API on the web is called a REST API. It works over HTTP, the same protocol your browser uses to load web pages. An important disclaimer here is REST is not the only way to design an API. There are others like GraphQL, gRPC, WebSocket, etc. Each has a different trade-off. REST is by far the most widely used, especially for web application, and it's the easiest one to learn first. So once you understand REST, picking up the other becomes much easier because the core concepts of requests and responses are the same. HTTP has different types of requests. We call them methods, and today we'll use four. The first one is get. For example, I want to read something, and I ask to the API to give me all the books, give me all the, I don't know, medicines, give me all the patients, give me all the dishes in working in a restaurant. The second one is the post. We use this when we want to create something. For example, we tell to the API, here is a new book, is a new pet, a new patient, please save it. The put, we use this when we want to update something. For example, change the book on, I don't know, with this code. Update the title, the author, I don't know. And the delete, we use this when we want to remove something. We say to the API, delete this book, uh, whatever it is. So these methods are defined in the HTTP specification maintained by the Internet Engineering Task Force. There is an official registry at iana.org. You can enter and keep updated because things continue uh, change it every time. So it's an interesting site to keep updated. So where you can see every and at that website you can see every registered HTTP method, not only get, post, put, delete, also patch, head, etc. And I will put the link in the chat at the end if you want to explore. And we are going to build a kind of CRUD with get, post, and delete today, and put follows the same pattern. And once you understand those three, you can build it on your own. So yeah. And every response has an status code. You have definitely seen some of this. 200, oh, everything work, it's okay. 201, it's created, something new was saved. 400, bad request, you sent something wrong. 404, not found. That things does not exist. You have probably seen this one in the browser. And the 500, server error, something wrong on the server side. So these are vocabulary on the web. Now you know them. By the way, there are many more status codes. If you want a fun way to remember them, you can look up it in two websites. It's called http.cats and http.docs. They have a cat or dog picture for every status code. I will put all the links in the chat at the end, but yeah, they are funny websites. Okay, so that's all the theory we need. Now let's build it. I'm putting the StackBlix link in the chat right now, so you can open it and click fork on the top. But this direct link will fork already, so this will give you your own personal copy. For this workshop, we will not use VS Code or another editor in terms of not fighting with dependencies and things like that, because this tool already give us all the setup needed. If someone can't load the stack leaks, just write in the chat. Yeah. Okay, everyone should see an editor. Let me move to this screen. This is the editor. On the left, you have like the file tree, and in the right, we have a kind of preview, and in the bottom part, we have like a terminal. Yeah, if you are okay, we are in the same step. Yeah, you can confirm with a thumbs up if you want. Okay, thanks, Tanisha. Okay, so we can see a default code here in the index.js and with an instruction here. For example, if we run a node index.js directly, oh, hmm, oh, I write it a typo error. Okay, we can see the message here. Hello, Node.js, like the version that the Stacklist is using. But we will delete this. And yeah, the first thing we need to do is go to the package. Do I need to fork then run the code? Just open the link and we will delete the code existing in this tool and write it again. Yeah. So first we need to install Express. Express is a library that makes it simple to create a web server in Node.js. Without it, you'd have to write a lot of boilerplate code. And before we install it, oh, I forget that can't type anything in the terminal. Are you not allowed to write something? Maybe you can share more details, Jennifer? Let me explain this and we go back to the doubts, I think. Uh, I don't get the red cursor. Red cursor. You think this one? Yes, red. Oh, uh, let me do some out. You can click on the plus one. Oh, yeah, let me start again. I will close this and just open the link that I shared before. This will create a new kind of editor, and we will go first to the package JSON, and that's it. Yeah. So before we installed Express, let me quickly mention something. To install packages in Node.js, you use a package manager, right? So the most common one is npm. Which comes built in with Node, but there is also yarn and PNP. Today we are going just to PNP, and maybe you are wondering why. Uh, it's faster and it's stricter. Something that I liked is it catches dependency issues that npm will silently ignore. So, but the commands are almost identical. So if you know npm install, you know pnp install. It's the same, just swap the word. Okay, let me read the Elisa comment. Click 4 before you do anything in the terminal. I click 4, but it was next, please. I have no in the terminal. I have step. Yeah, I share a link in the chat. this direct link will create a fork version of the stack list editor. So there is not more steps yet. We will start now. Are we in the same page or not? Right, thank you. Okay, yeah. So sorry if I explained something wrong, but thank you for your comments. Okay, so the first thing it's for us will be go to the terminal. We will click in the terminal and type pnp add express. As I mentioned, it's similar to yarn or npm, and this will install the dependency that we need to work with our API. Let's wait a few seconds. Okay, the dependency it's already installed, and we can see here in the dependency section in our package.json. And for example, when you install dependencies with npm or yarn, those Node package manager creates our own file to track all the dependencies and versions. And in the case of pnpm, it creates a pnpm log YAML with all the details and dependencies with their specified versions. In the case of yarn, we have the yarn log. In the case of npm, we have npm log. Yeah, okay, so let's go here, and we need to add two things. The first one is remove this, and we will add two commands in the script section. We will add first the start to init our application. In this case, the command will be node index.js. That is our main file. And the second one will be that we will use node watch index.js. The difference between these commands are the watch. With the watch, we are writing code in our index.js, and the server will be updated automatically. So that's great. Um, so the server will restart whenever you save a file, and it's very handy while we are developing some things. Now, we will go to our index.js and we will delete all the existing content if you have something there. And we will start for the scratch. Okay, so the first thing is import our installed dependency. We will write import express from express. Let me save it and see where is the problem here. Maybe I declaration or statement expect. Let me do it. So I can see, I can read entirely. Okay, let's continue. Let's see how it goes. Sorry, can you back? Sure. Thanks. Okay, no worries about that. Just let me know when you need more time to follow the structure. Okay, so now we are in the index.js. We already import the dependency, and this, what it means. So this imports Express into our file we installed in a moment ago, and now we are telling our code to use it. Yes, when I tap, you're already in next step, so maybe I will just watch and do it later. Yeah, that's right. If you want, you can pay attention and then you can um, follow all the steps but your own page. Okay. Is this okay, Jennifer? Unless you will go slower, but okay. Yeah, I know. So I will go back later. So yeah, if we are okay with this, let's continue. Yeah, I know. It's hard to do the same thing at the same time. Yeah, it will be uploaded in the YouTube channel as Kimberly mentioned early. So let's continue. Okay? So the next, maybe copy the code and paste it in the chat. Not to the events here. Okay. Yeah, I can copy, for example, the package JSON and then this line if you can follow better. And okay, the next part it's in a it's write cons app it's equal to express. Um, this creates our application and thinks of app as our server, and we will tell it what to do when request comes in. So the next line will be app.use. Let me write express.json and add a semicolon at the end. Yes, yes, yeah, it's a good thing. This line tells Express the following. When someone sends data to our API, parse it as JSON. And JSON is the standard format for sending data on the web. Without this line, we will then be able to read data from incoming requests. Now let's create our data. In a real application, maybe some some of you guys already built something with a database, but in this opportunity we'll use an in-memory DB because in order to not mix content concepts. So yeah, today we are using a simple array. In a real world, this data will come from a database and another kind of storage thing. So that's intentional. We want to focus on the HTTP layer, not on databases. So we will write here an array, like for example, to-dos. And let me write the empty array. This is an empty array. And inside, we will add a new object. The first property will be the ID. The second one, let me delete this just to keep it in line, will be the task, where we set the detail of the task, like learn what an API is. The third property will be a kind of a status, like the task is done or is not done or is pending. So done, we will set it as false. We can create another one like 2, and the task will be build my first, oh, sorry for the typo, first endpoint. We will set also the done property as false. And the third one will became an API wizard. And we'll set also this as false. And yeah, with this we have all the to-dos. And each to-do has an ID, a task, and whether it's done or not. This keeps track on the next ID. So yeah. Okay. Now let's create this variable. I forgot this. Yeah. This keeps track the next ID to assign it when we start to run our API and continue increasing in memory. So we already have the ID 1, 2, 3. So the next will be 4. And yeah, we could improve this code a lot, but it's just for educational purposes. So now we need the last piece here, that is telling the server to actually start and listen for requests. So we will write here a const called port, the port 3000, and tell our server start to listen that port. So we will put the port here and tell our console to display something like server running on http://localhost plus last port. Okay. We can save it with Command S or with Control S. It depends on your uh, OS. On also you can click on save it and at the top. Yeah. So let me clean the terminal and let me explain this a bit. AppListen starts the server on port 3000 and the function inside runs once the server is ready, and it just prints a message so we know it's working. You should see server running on http://localhost 3000, and let's see. We will use our command, this one. We will use pnp. So let me copy this and paste on the chat. If you lose something, we will type this pnp dep. Okay, as you can see here, we have our server running on this direction. Of course, considering we are using a stat list, this have another URL, but if we suppose we are in the local environment, this could use another type. This could use our local host. Okay, and how we can continue with this? How do I run the code from here? Oh, in the terminal, you can use pnp dep. Maybe 7, you can tell us what is the button which is not working. It is normal to show canon get after running code. Yeah, because we didn't expose any endpoints yet. So our first endpoint will be our get. So let's continue with this. I will write it, write failure running and index.js. Maybe you miss it, Tanisha, the PNP at Express. Not sure if you already installed it. It says the command dev is not found. Make sure you have the package JSON updated. I sent all the code in a previous message. Okay, so our first endpoint will be this one, get, where we get all the elements in our array and the in-memory elements if we add something later. So how we can do this? Let's write app get slash to-dos. This will be the path. And then we can define two parameters. The first one is the rec. This is like a convention here, but we can change the name if we want. This is the request, the incoming data, and this is the response. The data it's exposing when the request is ready to serve something. Okay, so we will write res.json with all the to-do elements. Yeah. So let me explain again. App.get, this creates a get endpoint, and with this, someone can read data from here. The slash to-dos is the URL part, and this endpoint lives at our host, and yeah. And these two parameters we added, it's something that Express give us. And as I already mentioned, the request is the incoming request, and it's the information from whoever is calling our API. And the rest is the response and what we send back. Do I remove the code in the terminal, then add the PNP dev? Yeah, if you don't have something here, let me delete it. You should see something like this. If you are starting, you can run the PNP app at Express here. Oh, let me see. Do you have the scripts? Okay, thank you guys for helping the other folks. And let me see the screenshot that, yeah. Maybe, yeah, if the command dep is not found, and make sure it is present in your package JSON. Okay, let me run in again. And Christy, you can send a screenshot also. It's a lot of helpful to help you. I'm fine. Oh, thank you, Christy. Okay. So, how we can see this working? We can open. We can click here just to hide the three files and open click on the open preview. And yeah, as someone mentioned, if we go to the root, we can see canon get because we not define any endpoint at this part. And at the end, we can add a slash to those and press enter. And as you can see, we can see all the elements inside the to-dos. You have to, I delete the terminal now, it goes a bit gone. Okay, so let's try to help the others in the chat. Thank you, Christy, for helping each other. And yeah, maybe it's I've saved it. I still present what we do right at the end. At the end of the URL, let's put the slash to dos. I can't copy the entire URL because every one has a different URL. So just put to-dos at the end and you will see all the elements in our array. Do I need to run it again? Yeah, if you use PNPDEP, it should run in with every update, which with each update that we make in our file. If you modify something like, for example, I don't know, I can add some dots here, and if I press Command S, this will update and refresh this. So if I go to to-dos, it's refreshed or updated. Yeah. We need to have the path, the slash to-dos at the end. It works for you, Christy? Yeah, at the end, great. It's working now. Great, Anisha. Great, Christy. The terminal doesn't have the purple arrow now. Yeah, it's okay because it is running our code. Canon get to-dos. Oh, make sure you have this. Let me copy the update content maybe. So that is how we check the JSON in the browser. Yeah, this is the default view for different APIs in the browser if the endpoint isn't, for example, restricted by an authentication and a token or different things. Consider we are running this in stack list. We are able to see in this kind of preview browser. Okay, sorry, object data. Melanie, how do you get the point to add the URL? Oh, okay. You can see this arrow here. It says open preview. And you can modify the URL here. Maybe it shows at the first time cannot get because we not add an endpoint to the root. And at the end, you can put to-dos. Yeah. Okay, there is our array as JSON. We just built our first API endpoint. I hope everyone do the same on your fork and you should see the same thing. Okay, before we continue, what about doing a QA with Kahoot? Are you agreed with that? It's not a test, it's just for fun. If you want, we can do that. I'm gonna watch because I don't. Okay, Jennifer, don't worry. I will share everything that we are doing, please. Melanie Clark, expected double quote. Which URL, Naomi? The one you put in preview. Oh, this one, I don't know if I copy this directly, this will work because this generates a different URLs for each person is joining to the stack list. Yeah. If you open this, maybe you can see something different here. Great. Okay, and let's wait for the to-dos and continue. And okay, let's add another endpoint and then we can, I don't.
Muy bien.
Oh, my Alexa. I don't have that button. You don't see it? Um, hmm, weird. The link button is not there. Jennifer, the command is pnp dep, not pnp express. Yeah. So let's continue with this, the get by ID, and then of this endpoint, we will add, we will run a Kahoot just to have a kind of break of this. So let's write app.get. It's pnp dep. Jennifer. Yeah. Okay. So as the another one, we will write to-dos. And the main difference in the path is we will put a kind of parameter, and this should be the ID. Then we will write again direct and res. Also, don't forget the semicolon just to follow the good practices. And let's first declare the ID. Here we have a parse int. We will explain it when I finish to type it, just to not spend much time writing this. Let me do define. And okay, yeah. We just put the new path will be to do slash and a parameter. And the parameter is the ID. Why? Because when we create an endpoint to get by ID, we need an identifier. For example, in a real world, this identifier could be a slash, could be a number, could be an UID, it could be a different things. In this case, we will use our ID property from our array, and that's the reason because we capture the parameters in our request and the ID property as we named here, and we parse as an integer. And we save it in this variable called ID. Then, considering this is a in-memory database, we use the function find to filter all these elements by this property and use the three equals. Maybe I can run a question here, like, do you know the difference between using double equals and triple equals? Someone knows the difference? Or remember it maybe? A strict equality. Yes, that's great, Christy. Oh, it's not responding anything. Yeah, that's great. Let's wait a bit, Steven, to continue. So trees does not tree. Yeah, you are right. So that's the reason because we are filtering in this way. Because everything it's receiving as a request, it's coming in without types. It's just an string, so we need to parse it. And where else? Where is the next step? We will do a quick validation here, like if nothing is assigned in our to-do object or to-do variable, sorry, we will return unless our response. We will set the response in the status 404. That it means the ID is not found in our database or in memory database. So we will put JSON here and add a property called error and write here something like do not found. We can customize this as we want. So yeah. And the last part is the to do. res.json to do. Okay, my terminal is okay. If you have problems, you can maybe enter in a new stack list instance. Let me put the link again, and you can copy the updated code and try to follow these steps. Okay, let me put the link first. Let me copy the package JSON. Let me copy the content of the index.js, and you can type pnp install in order to install directly all the dependencies in our package JSON. And let me see, and let me know how it goes, okay? So let me explain this a bit, just to make sure everyone understands this part. So the colon ID in the URL, it's called a route parameter. Wherever someone puts after the slash to do slash gets captured in the rec.params.id. And if someone goes to slash to do slash, I don't know, 2, then the rec.params.id will be an string with the value 2. And we use the %, because the URL parameters are always strings and our IDs are numbers, so we need to convert. And then we search with a clear error message. And a nice tip is a good API always tells you what went wrong. It could return a not found errors, an error in the communication with the server, or error from the client to the server, or maybe a kind of validation like, oh, you are doing a lot of requests, so I will block you for an hour or 2 hours. It depends. Just mention some scenarios in the real world. Okay, so let's test it. If we open again the preview, we can write slash to do's slash, for example, 1. And we can see the first object we have here. We can also move to slash 3, and we can see, oh, it's not, the filtering is not working. Huh. Let me check where is wrong here. Rec params ID. Okay, let me put another. Oh, it's so we're returning the same error, the same item. Interesting. Live debugging. Okay, let me check again. We have our slash to-dos.id. Okay, thanks Vida for joining to us today. We have a rec response, parse in, rec params ID, comes to do. We filter, oh yeah, this is the error. Oh, it's automatically applying. Oh yeah, I see, I forgot this. Oh yeah, let me paste the right line. I forgot to use our declare object for all the to-dos items and use the to ID property for that items and comparing to the receiving ID. So let's try again. Okay, to do 1. Okay, to do 2. Nice. we can see the to do 2. If we go to do 10 or 100, sorry, we can see our validation. Saying cannot get, no. Saying cannot get, yeah. We need to write this at the end, the slash to do's, and at the end, we can put our ID. It could be 1, 2, 3, or something that is not present in our array, like 8. It should return not found. Oh, is this icon 7? I don't know if I can create a... Oh, I sent a screenshot. It's that one, that icon. It's the arrow. Yeah. Okay. So I just say preview. Maybe you can share another screenshot if you already click on the right icon. Oh, maybe it's because you're not running the application in the terminal. Can you confirm if you already run the PNP dep? And just to take a quick break and let's do a Kahoot to check where we are. It's not a test, just a checkpoint, just a 5 question. If you want to participate, just let me know. I will open this. I have to, yeah. Let me open this. I hope this will not a problem. And let me click on start. Let me copy this. Okay, I go back to Bigfoot. Let's wait 5 seconds just to continue with this. It's it's optional, so yeah. Yeah, just if you want, you can join. Okay? Okay, can we start? Yeah. React with a thumbs up if you are agreed to start. Okay. Okay, yeah. Let's start with 16 people. Oh, it opened a big screen. Okay, so the first question is, let me this. What does HTTP stand for? You can Hypertransfer Technology Protocol, Hypertext Transfer Program, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, and High-Tech Transfer Protocol. Great! Most of you know the answer. That's great. Let's see the podios. Great job, Mimi. Gibbs, DJ, G, Grace. Let's continue. Next question. Which HTTP method do you use to create new data? We have send, get, post, delete. Great. Just a quick reminder, the delete is used to delete things in our APIs. Like if you want to remove something, the get is to get information from our API, like a resource, data, and post is write. Is used to create. Great job, Mimi. Next question. What does 404 status code mean? I think it's the most popular one. Okay, that's great. Yeah. Remember, the not found is the 404, but server error, it's typical 500 error. Request succeeds, maybe it will be 201, and unauthorized, it could be 401. Yeah. If, oh, okay. Great job, Mimi, and good for Raquel. It's in a row. Okay, next question. In Express, what does rec represent? We are using this today, so maybe you remember it. It's the response used back, a required parameter, the express router, and the incoming request. Great. Remember the rec is just a common convention to naming the request, the incoming request. And the response is usually named as res. So yeah, that's great. Let's see. Oh, G, it's at the top. Um, this is the last one. Okay. We already mentioned this, so what are we using as our database today? Oh, yeah. We are using an array. Maybe it's the confusion, it's due our JSON file or JS file, I don't know. But yeah, just to clarify that. So let's see the podium. We have Fabs, we have NA, and the first one is Mimi. Congrats, Mimi. Okay. Do you like it or not? Let me turn off the music. Just to not be noisy here. Okay, so how the Kahoot goes? Do you like it? Mimi also Best Avatar. Yeah, two prizes for Mimi. Okay, let's check with Christy. Get bar ID. This word shows the ID, single reg and the that was fun. Okay, thanks, G. Anisha. Okay, Christy. Yeah. Something difficult in the workshops is have the access to all screens in order to help with the debug. But let me copy and paste here. Hey, Christy, if that helps. If not, just let me know. How do I connect an API URL in a real? Do I connect API to a real web application? Yeah. For a real application, we need to deploy our code in a service maybe. We have different options nowadays, so we can use a cloud service like, I don't know, AWS, Azure, a Google Cloud Platform, or you can use things like Fly.io, Railway, and different things. But if you want to test it locally first, you can do the same we did today. Run the code using npm, yarn, or pnp, and with the localhost URL, you can connect to your front-end application. I don't know if that answered your question, but I have a section at the end to explain a bit this. Okay, so now we are going to create new to-dos. This is a post endpoint, and we will add it here, like post. Yeah. Thank you for everyone who is helping each other. I really appreciate it. Let's write the app.post, and in the path we will use to-dos. Then we will follow our typical regress and continue with this. Fixed measurement. Oh, great to know fixes. It is possible to save this as a mini project to GitHub and then locally. Yeah, totally. You can create a repository, and or we can do it together if you want, and you can have another project for your portfolio or things like that. Okay, inside this new method for the post endpoint, we will create a new variable. In this case, we will receive the body of the request and the structure a variable called task. We will name as task. We will add a quick validation here called just to verify if the task is present in the request. We can write return rest status per 100.json, and in the curly brackets we can put our error. Oh, what happened? Something moved my cursor. Okay, a message like this. So we will receive the task object inside the body of the request and validate if the task is present. If not, we will return this error and say something like task is required. And without the task, we can continue. Then if the task is present, we can create a new to-do and add a new item to our existing array using this variable and increasing just one at the time. So we receive the task and set the status as false because it's a new task with both is pending, but you can change the logic if you want. Then we will get our object new to do and push to our to-dos array. And if everything goes right, we will respond with a new status called 201.json new to do. This is typically used when we create correctly a new item or new resource using the post HTTP verb. Okay. Will the next ID++ right now skip ID4? Good question. Let's see. Let's see in live. But yeah, it should increase in one. Okay, just save it. Well done on the byte. Yeah. Just save it this and if you notice here, we can only run get endpoints through this preview. And how can we test the post endpoint? We will use the terminal to do it. So let me go back here again and explain it a bit just to make sure everything is clear. The app.post create a new post endpoint with the same URL as the get, but a different method, so it's not a collision there. And Express know the difference considering the verb. The right body is where the incoming data live. Remember the app use express.json. We use it here. Is saying we are receiving a JSON data. So in the destructor in here, we are pulling the task field from wherever was sent. They can send yeah they can send different things. So yeah. Then we are validating if there is not a task. We return for 100 column bad request. So we always tell the caller what they did wrong. And the HTTP errors that usually start with the number 4, it means it's an error between you and the server because it could be malformed data, missing permissions, and things like that. If it starts with 5, it's a server error in a different level. So yeah. So at the end, we push to the array and respond with 201, and what it means the HTTP is created. So yeah, and we will test it with CRUD. We will open a new tab and we can reduce the size of the first tab, and we will start to typing a new CRUD. Okay, now the CRUD is this, and we will use http://localhost.3000. Let me move here. /sudo. Yes, let's test this first. Yeah, okay. This is our get. It's work. Oh, it works. So let's test in the post. The structure, it's a bit different in the terminal, but the first command or keyword is call. We will set the verb with post and write the same URL, like localhost 3000 slash to-dos. And if we want to write it faster, we can write it here in our index file without saving, and put this age just to send data to the header, and specified the content type, because it's important to our API know we are sending JSON data. And the last part is the data that we sent. And we will send, I will copy this through the chat, no worries. Like, we'll send a task object, and the task will be, I don't know, my new to-do. And let me copy all of this and cut. Okay. And paste here. Okay. So we have a new task. If we run the first command again, is call the host and slash to-dos, we have all the previous items and the new one. Let me paste the command here, and you can try it by yourself and let me know if that works for you. It works for everyone who is following the live code thing. Yes, when I click, there is no arrow or name. Yeah, if you click in the plus, it will open a new terminal. It should appear like this. Maybe it is displaying different because my screen resolution, but should be very similar. Unfortunately, no, but it's okay. I'm listening. Okay, that's great to know, Christy. Okay, also we can validate the same thing, sending this empty. I can see the past. Oh no. Okay, let me continue with this. And we can send this through the terminal with the empty, but can you paste it? Yeah, sure. Let me send the updated code at this point. Yeah, and with this, considering the body is empty, this should throw our validation. Let's see if our validation is working. Okay, it's working. It says error task is required as we define here. And yeah, so let's do the last endpoint. It's called delete one. And we can use the delete. It's very similar to the get by ID, just the difference is the verb. We use here delete one, and write slash to-dos slash the parameter, it's called ID. We write the same break rest and at the semicolon at the end. And we start with the same. Maybe we can copy and paste it to gain additional time. So we can copy and paste these two lines. Okay, we have the ID just to make sure we will delete the correct one. Do the parse, search in our in-memory database, And let's validate the following. When an element is not present in an array, it returns -1, right? So we will change this to use, instead of find, define index. So let's use this d.1, it's equal. So we replace define with this, just to have explicit validation here. And if this is not present, we will return rest status 400. Okay. And the content will be an error similar to the other ones. And we can say something like to do, not found, not present, or something simpler. Then we can use displays, and you can see here, this is displaying very similar in VS Code or another editor, so you can see the parameters, like it is need the start and the delete count. So in this case, we will use the index to delete the element in that position, and just what? Just that element. And the response will be message deleted successfully. And don't forget the semicolon at the end. Oh, I add a y extra y. So it's the same pattern as get by ID, and the time we use define index instead of find give us the position in the array, so which we need to do displays, and yeah. So we can test it in the terminal, also with curl, because yeah, we can see this in the browser preview. And considering the server was restarted, we have just 3 elements again. And we can use this delete https://localhost.3000/todos, and just delete the element with the ID 1. Oh, it said index is not defined. Oh, okay. I forgot to add the index. Yeah, I named this wrong. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, it says deleted successfully. And we can fetch the elements again. And you can see, and here you can see just the element with ID 2 and 3 are present. So yeah, that was our testing. And that's it. We have a complete REST API with the full CRUD endpoints. The CRUD is typically the create, read, update, and delete. We almost built the get, the post, the delete. The put, which is the update, follows the same pattern. That's great, yeah. G, it works. And give me a second, Tanisha, and I will check your screenshot. And let me send the delete method through the chat. Yes, if you want to keep updated. But again, at the end, I will share the entire code. Yeah. So, okay. The one bonus concept before we wrap up is it's something I consider important. Is this will save you hours of frustration someday. Maybe some of you already know, but when we try to integrate our backend to our frontend working locally or in deployed environment, working with API already exposed to internet, um, it's coarse. So when you build a front end, if imagine a React app or even a plain HTML page, and you try to call your API from the browser with JavaScript or wherever, you will see an error. Access to fetch has been blocked by core policy. Someone already knows about core? You can react with a thumbs up or something similar. But CORS stands for Cross-Origin Resource Sharing. It is a browser security feature, and the browser says a web page on one origin cannot call an API on a different origin unless that API explicitly allows it. And what's an origin? It's the combination of the protocol, domain, and port. So, for example, localhost colon 5173, uh, it could be your frontend, and localhost colon 2000, it could be your backend, are different origins. So the browser could block their request. And the fix is two lines. First, we can use this terminal. We can add the course package here, and then we can import the course here. Course from course, add the semicolon at the end, and we can add here app use course. And this is commonly used in the real world because we don't want to everyone can access to our API. For example, if you are building, someone mentioned something for a healthcare environment. If you work in healthcare, you need to make sure your data is only exposed to known providers, known clients. So, of course, will be really helpful because you can only allow specifically domains, ports, and things like that. So yeah, and this import and use course, it tells your server accept requests from, in this case, for every origins, or but you can specify it. So yeah. So let me go back to this. Yeah, you now have a complete REST API. And where do you go from here? You can use a real database. As you notice, our array resets on restart. So the next step something is using something like SQL, Postgres SQL. You can use things like locally or in the cloud. For example, Supabase have a nice free tier that you could try. And the HTTP layer you built today stay exactly the same. You just swap the array for database query. You can call external APIs. You can use the OpenAI API, the Anthropic API, the Gemini AI API, etc. You can build a front end. You know how to fix cores, and then you can deploy it. Also, I mentioned Railway and Render because they have a generous free tier and you can deploy different applications. So for backend and for frontend, you can use GitHub Pages, Vercel. We have different options nowadays. So yeah. And just to close this, I don't know if we have time, but we can run another Kahoot in order to give away um, JetBrains licenses. So, Kimberly, we have time or not? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we have time.
Okay, so let's do the last Kahoot. Let me copy the link in the chat. This is for JetBrains license. So they are just 10 questions. We can answer uh, choosing the options, and at the end I will send you a license for JetBrains product. It could be whatever you want. It covers 1 year of subscription, so yeah, that's great, I think. Yeah, let's wait just a few seconds, and if everyone is ready, we can start. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Great. Okay, let's move forward. You already know this. Amazing. Good job, I see. Okay. Okay, that's great. Good job, Grace, Mimi, Paps, Luis, Ella. Why do we use parse in on direct params ID? Great. It is because URL params are always string. Just to remember. Great job, Ella. You're in the first place. Okay, what does course prevent? Okay. Browser calling APIs on different origins without permissions. Just to remember. Nice job, Ella. You're on fire. Okay, what status code should you return when required data is missing? Amazing. Quiz. Nice. Okay, what is the main advantage of PNP over NPM? I mentioned this at the beginning. That's great. The official node package manager, it's NPM. But yeah, that's great. Okay, just 2 questions more. What does app.use express.json do? Okay, it pairs incoming JSON request bodies. Yeah. Okay. What happens to our data when the server restarts? Remember, we use this an array as our database, so amazing. Yeah, it resets. Okay, a contract between two programs. Send this back.
I wasn't able to answer that last question. The app, not that I'm competitive, but yeah. Oh, well done, Dylan. Ah, who's the winner?
The winner is Luis. Congrats, Luis. I will send the JetBrains license to Kimberly, and Kimberly can send to you.
Please drop me an email, Louise. I'll put my email in here and I'll make sure you get it. Well done.
Okay, thank you. That's it for me. Congratulations to everyone. And yeah, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Codebar for organizing things. And you built a working API today from nothing. And that is a real skill. So keep building and breaking things.